Hey guys, and welcome to another video about Goddess of Victory Azure Lane. We've actually had the leaks for her kit floating around for how many days now, but I wasn't exactly sure if this was going to be the final version. But recently, they actually put out the patch notes for the upcoming update, and based on the description that they gave us, it actually seems like the leaks match up with the official description. So today, we're gonna be taking a look at her kit to see what she does and if I think she is worth pulling for. So MAST is going to be a burst type 2 SMG support with the electric element, and she is also going to be from the Elysian line of units. So we finally got to take a break from the Tetra characters. Moving on to her skill 1, this basically shreds the enemy defense whenever she does a critical hit 2 times. And it's important to keep in mind that the defense reduction is based on her defense. Plus, this can actually stack up to 50 times, so it goes up to 95% of her defense at level 10. The second effect activates when her HP falls below 70%. This will increase her critical damage by 50.94% at level 10, and the same thing goes with her 2 allies with the highest attack. This will definitely be good for boss fights, but it's going to suck if the enemy is able to go off screen, apply shields, or be invincible. Because knowing how stack decay works in NIKKE, all of the stacks on her skill 1 will disappear after 3 stacks of not meeting the skill condition. But still, I'm actually quite positive about this, because even though defense reduction is not regarded as the most useful debuff, you also have to consider that the current characters that apply defense shred have a very low scaling or a very bad skill condition. So MAST having a simple skill condition and decent scaling can actually make her defense reduction good in some scenarios. So moving on to her skill 2, activates when entering battle, and this affects herself along with 2 other units with the highest attack. This is going to increase their crit rate by 23.56% at level 10. So this one is pretty simple. It helps MAST get the stacks on her skill 1, and even though crit rate is not as good as getting more attack, it's still going to boost the damage for your DPS characters. Now moving on to her burst. This one is going to have a 20-second cooldown, which is really good. The first effect will apply to MAST and as well as 2 of her allies with the highest attack. So it's the same skill condition for her other skills. This is going to increase their maximum HP by 60.34%. And this effect is going to have a 7-second duration. So basically, for that 7 seconds, you can overheal those characters by a certain amount, and the characters affected by this effect can also improve their skills if their skills are based on max HP. On top of that, MAST's burst is also going to increase their critical damage by 25.19% for the same duration. Moving on to the second effect, this is going to deal 4.52% of her attack as damage, but the main thing is that it's going to duplicate the stacks on her skill 1 every 1 second for 7 seconds. The first effect on this burst is really good for increasing your team's survivability. It gives 3 of your characters extra HP, which is always nice, but on top of that, they're also getting more critical damage. On the other hand, the second effect actually looks insane. It basically makes it so that you don't necessarily need to have a ton of critical rate on your equipment to easily get maximum stacks on her skill 1. Because if we go by the description, it duplicates the stacks of Sea Breeze every 1 second. So that means that if you have 10 stacks, you will instantly get another 10 stacks after 1 second. Then your stacks will basically double every 1 second until you get to maximum stacks. Which, if you think about it, shouldn't take too long. So for my initial impressions, MAST is looking to be a really good candidate as a burst type 2 unit for boss fights. But the one thing that can make or break this character is how good her defense shred actually is. As I mentioned earlier, the 2 reasons why defense reduction is bad is because the existing characters that can shred defense have a very low scaling and or a bad skill condition. But looking at MAST, assuming that you're able to consistently land 2 critical hits every 3 seconds, which shouldn't be that difficult, you will most likely have a 100% uptime on her defense shred. On top of that, if I'm not mistaken, she is actually the first character to have a defense reduction effect that scales based on her defense. Looking back at the description of her skill 1, it says that defense down by 1.9% of the caster's defense. Correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, all of the defense reduction skills that we currently have straight up reduces the enemy's defense by a flat percent value. As an example, Santi's burst reduces the enemy's defense by 14.54% for 10 seconds. Overall, I think that she is going to be a great pickup for endgame players, especially if you are trying to push your score against the raid bosses. Of course, I'm gonna be pulling for her, and I will probably be doing some live testing on the day off, so I'm looking forward to that. With that said, let me know what you think about her kit and if you're pulling for her. And as always, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.